Hello everybody, Accuray here, and welcome back to another AccuyeTalks 101. Well, AccuyeTalks where all the characters land for ranked battle. So yeah, we are back in part 18 at this point now. So we last talked about Minat, who was the last mid-tier character we had. So we're getting right into the low to or mid to high tier characters, and every character going forward at this point is pretty much a mid to high tier character. Well, actually, the last few characters I'm going to be talking about here are mid to high tier characters, at least in my opinion. So yeah, with that being said, we're going to get started with Colin, who, at least in my personal opinion, I cannot play very well for Diddly Squat. But yeah, we are going to get straight into showing you Colin. So
Come on.
like I said, this is getting pretty much near the end of the mid to high tier characters, everyone. There's not too many mid to high tier characters. And every character going forward after this one, after the mid to high tier characters are of course a high tier character in their own fashion, I guess you could say. But yeah, with that being said, we're going to get right into doing that stuff. So yeah, like I said, obviously, Colin is most used as by mid to high tier characters. She's, at least in my opinion, she's not exactly a character you would expect to be, in the category that she is in. But in many ways, she does work in that whole in the whole mid to high tier character range. But yeah, with that being said though, we're going to be getting right on into the overall playthrough and whatnot, or at least the show off of the online match racing. Obviously, I like V-Trigger 2 better than V-Trigger 1. Personal choice in my personal opinion, but but at the same time, it would, I hope, at least to you, make some sense why I of course choose to use Colin. But yeah, like I said, as I've said before, in my opinion, Colin's a complete mid to high tier character, and yeah, let's go ahead and get into the let's go ahead and get into our usual online matchup and whatnot. So yeah, we're going to go right into the of course online matches as usual. To help give you an idea, of course, of how to play all the characters, I guess you could say, to some degree, because obviously, it's always good to have, have an idea, of course. But yeah, with that being said, as I've said, we're going to get right on into it. Yeah.
Your match record with Colleen is 3 wins and 5 losses.
Obviously, Colleen, I don't play that much, as I've said before. She's not, like, a bad character. I just don't play her that much, Like, really, I just don't play her all that much, at the end of the day. So, yeah.
Fight.
But, yeah, here we are. I'm going to show you, pretty much all I can, or at least this is just to give you an idea of her mid to high tier character. Unfortunately, I've run into a, Abigail here, who, as I've said before, is a complete, low tier character. But the thing is, of course, I of course not having played Colin all that much, pretty much, have, pretty much not been able to, not been able to, get past this guy. So, and, like I've said, I don't play Colin that much. One of the main other things that happen is the fact that, of course, for me, I used to play, as I've said before, what can I say? I used to play, as you could say, I used to play I used to do local competitive tournaments with an arcade stick, and I personally love using arcade sticks more than of course than the old controller. So of course for me, it's just not it's just not something that I can personally use myself. But yeah, like I said, that was just a bad matchup in my opinion. And of course, as I've said before, I'm better with arcade sticks. So I mean, but as I've said, Colin is, like I said, a mid to high tier character. It's just, like I said, I'm terrible at playing fighting games with non-fighting sticks, because the problem, if y'all don't know, is controllers were never built to be a fighting game, thing. And it's just so difficult. For those of you who've never done any tournaments or who've never been competitive in a fighter game, you don't realize how much different it is going from being going from controller, or should I say arcade stick to controller. Like, switching from arcade stick to controller is just, it's not possible, because all the moves that you have to do, you have to have like a smooth surface, or like I've said, like I've talked about, you gotta have what you call it, you have to have you have to have full control of your buttons. Yeah, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And sometimes just remembering, like, not having like a smooth movement of registration, and then like being able to just kind of slide across is just not good for it's just not good for a player, a competitive calibered player. And that's the main reason why some of these battles are a little rough, because of course, as I said before, you are having to utilize what's it called, all the controller sticks and whatnot. The style, of course, with Urian is again kind of the same issues, where I just am not able to continue the or make the fight happen, I guess you could say. Because it's just like, I struggled to try to make it happen. But with that being said, we are going to continue to, of course, we are going to continue, of course, being able to, have, you can see that this is a bit of a better fight, because obviously, I'm able to control it a little better, but, but as I've said before, with controllers, it's just not easy, because, for me, especially registering buttons, it's like, I don't know if I'm registering the movement or anything like that. And, and with that being said, I mean, it is very difficult to, to just make it happen, So, yeah. But, yeah, so, Anyway, so, yeah. But, So, yeah. But, I mean, this is, like I said, just a little show off of all the things, that we have, that is, for Colin. Hopefully you enjoyed this, video, everybody, and, yeah, like I said, this is just a small show off of, of the, Colin, and, at least just to show her that she is a bit more on the low mid-tier, or she's on the high mid-tier level, but she's kind of on the low end of the high tier. Sadly, like I said, I just couldn't, this guy just decided to be one of those guys who just uses Urian, with that cheap move of, So, yeah. But, I mean, like I've said before, this is just a small show off of Colin. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. We'll try to, but, as I've said, to explain things from a competitive, or at least in my personal standpoint, sorry about that. In my personal standpoint of things, it's just the fact that, obviously, as it is, Colin, she's very mid to high tier, but she's just, for me, it's just a matter of the fact that I'm terrible with controllers. Like, my main issues with aiming on fighting games is the fact that I'm just terrible with controllers. And controllers, at least in my opinion, were never built for fighting games. I mean, many casual players can play controllers with, or can play fighting games with controllers because, let's face it, I bet you about 9 out of 10 of you, and I'm only saying 9 out of 10 of you, even though I know there are probably a load of people who watch these videos day to day, 9 out of 10 of you, I bet you, are button mashers. I mean, a lot of people who are not a competitive player, who do not play competitive games, and who are just not competitive, are as I've said, a very,
let's end this.
A very, one of those people who just will button mash you to try and win, or, or will do these small little things to try and win. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with button mashers. It's just that, for me, I'm just not that type person, and I'm better with an arcade stick. But anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you like this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button, get subscribed, hit that bell notification, because I know you want to know when my next video is. I am live usually on Twitch on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. You can follow me at www.twitch.tv/Accuray. But thank you everyone for joining me on this video. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being here. And until the next one, this is Accuray signing out and saying farewell, everyone.